Hey everybody, Ash here with Gents, and today it's Navitus time. Yes, Steven from Red Essence's fragrance brand. I got in my discovery set today, so I'm about to crack into this and do a first impression on each one of the fragrances that are inside here. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's just jump into this right away. First off, a lot of you are probably curious, did I get this for free or did I pay for it? I paid for it. It was $49.99, I think, so 50 bucks basically. There are 7 atomizers in here with 3 milliliters each, so 21 milliliters of fragrance for 50 bucks. Also, in the interest of full disclosure, full transparency, Steven actually had talked to me back in November, mid-November, and said that he was going to send the line to me for review and that I could be honest with it, say whatever I wanted. And then January rolled around, I hadn't heard anything back, and I wanted to check these out, so I just went ahead and bought it. Not too long after I bought it, Steven actually reached out to me again and said, hey, I saw that you purchased a discovery set. If you want, I can refund that to you. And I said, nah, that's okay, no big deal. So I did pay for this, but it was offered that I didn't have to. I have heard a lot of stuff online about this brand. There's been a lot of chatter in the Facebook groups, you could say. If you guys are in the Facebook groups, you know what I'm talking about. There's been a lot of love, there's been a lot of hate. Some people have said that these are clones of other fragrances, and some people have said, no, you're crazy. They're not clones at all. They smell completely unique. I have not smelled any of these, so I have no clue which side I'm on in terms of that argument. In this video, I'm just gonna be concentrating on these fragrances, not talking about anything else in terms of the brand. We're just talking straight up, are these fragrances good or not? I've got the website pulled up on my phone, which is right down here. That way I can check out the notes while I go through this. I'm gonna have to use tester strips instead of spraying these on skin because there's 7 different fragrances. I don't want to spray 7 different spots on my body and try to keep that all straight. So let's go ahead and crack into this. I can smell a little bit of something. I don't think any of these have really leaked, so that's good. I know some people have said that they had issues with that. I mean, I can smell the fragrances a bit, but I don't see that anything's messed up here. So let me show you how this presentation looks for the Discovery set. It does look pretty nice. Here we've got the front. You can see that little Infiniflame logo right there. It looks pretty good in the light. On the back of the box, you've got all the different fragrances and then the ingredient information. And then it opens up like that right there. So here are your fragrances. Navus, Intimus, Primus, Absolution, Virtus, Oud Imperium, and Oud Luxuria. So here's how they look right there. Pretty simple, but it gets the job done. Am I right? Kind of wish I did have 7 spots to spray this on my skin, but too much hassle. All right, let's let this chill down here for a second. I don't remember who said what fragrance was supposed to smell like what. A lot of people have said, oh, this smells like that, and this smells like that, and this smells like that. But I don't remember what each fragrance people have said smells like something else. So if I get reminded of anything, I'll let you know, but if I don't, then I'll let you know that as well. So with this one, it's citrusy off the top. The citrus that is in here reminds me a little bit of the citrus that you'll find in something like Navitus Parfums Elysium. It doesn't smell exactly like Elysium, but the way the citrus comes across is similar. And I think that's because of the juniper that's mixed in with the citrus. There's also a bit of neroli that you can pick up in the opening here as well. To an extent, and this is oversimplified just as a snap first reaction, it is a little bit like you took Xerjoff Neo and mixed it with Navitus Parfums Elysium. As this dries down off the tester strip, it does smell a little bit closer to Neo. It's not the exact same, but it's a little bit closer to that. It's not as much Elysium, more Elysium right there initially. And again, off the tester strip, I think that's the juniper because that dies down pretty quickly. It's a nice, sweet citrus fragrance. It smells really pleasant. Definitely something that would work really well in spring and summer, especially summer. Quality here off the tester strip smells good. So this one, I'm gonna go ahead and just spray on my hand and see if it's as good off my hand as the tester strip. Only reason I do that is because sometimes with testers, citrus will come across much more strongly than it will off my skin. But while I let that settle, I will get into the next one, Intimus. Actually, before I spray Intimus, it's way different off my skin. And this is why I should have just sprayed, I don't know, man, maybe I'll just spray 7 different spots on my skin. It's not as good off my skin. It smells better off a tester strip. It doesn't smell bad though. It does not smell as close to Elysium in the opening off skin as it does the tester strip. So the tester strip has lied to me once more. Off my skin, I think it's okay. I don't think it's great. Again, this is just first impressions. This could always change as I give these more wear and, you know, check them out and wear them in different situations and things like that, but it's just okay. The citrus off skin comes across a little bit warmer instead of sparkly, and it's not quite as juicy off skin as it is off the tester strip. Yeah, it's like a sweet citrus with some amber sort of thing and maybe some musk, but it just doesn't pop. It doesn't grab my attention. It's just all right. And I think it's 195. At 195, that'd be a pass for me. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Just citrus. I keep repeating that, but that's really what it is. It's kind of like a muted citrus. It's like a muted sweet citrus. It doesn't have a sparkly pop. Doesn't come across overly fresh or anything like that. I still think it's a spring summertime fragrance, but yeah. Next up, Intimus. And this one's actually leaky a little bit. So what I smelled when I opened up the fragrance was this one. Yeah, on the inside you can see that it's leaked a little bit on the foam that holds the fragrance in. I doubt this is gonna pick up. It's right along here. You can see it's a different color right there. So it leaked right there. Who cares though, right? Okay, let's spray that Intimus. Yo, Intimus is on. Let's let it settle just for a second. Got some on my mouth somehow. Doesn't taste very good. So this smells familiar. It doesn't smell bad at all, but it smells like a designer fragrance. I know tester strips, they lie, like I've said, but this is a little bit, at least off the top here, this is a little bit similar to Ultramall. So it's not the exact same as Ultramall, but there's a similarity here. Let's see, this fragrance has bergamot, lemon, apple, orange, floral notes, and pink pepper in the opening. Patchouli, oak moss, toasted sugar, vanilla, woody notes, and musk in the base. Geranium, amber, lily of the valley in the heart. Talking about Intimus here. It's gonna be a fragrance similar to Ultramall, yeah. Kind of something you would use in similar situations. Again, doesn't smell bad, but I don't think I'd pay 200 bucks for it. And going back to Navus, just really super quickly, it has changed up on my skin. There is a little more freshness in there. It's like the juniper has started to pop out a little bit. So it's not as one note or whatever. It's not as centered on citrus as it was before, where before, when I first sprayed it on, it was very much just citrus, citrus, citrus. Now I'm picking up the juniper. I like it a little bit more. I still wouldn't buy it at 200 bucks, but I like it a little bit more. And let's just keep it rolling. Next up is Primus. Now this is where things are gonna start to get tricky. I'm gonna have to start spraying just all over, I guess. All right, let's get this one on the wrist. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is probably the one that people have compared to Aventus. Because I know some people have said, oh, Aventus, Aventus. And the last two have smelled nothing like it, so it's gotta be this one. Now, it does not smell exactly like Aventus. I'm not saying this is an Aventus clone, but I could see where people out there would say this is inspired by Aventus. This has gotta be the one that some people have said that they get an Aventus vibe. Yeah, I think this is my favorite one. So if anybody says this gives them an Aventus type vibe, I would imagine it's because of the way the bergamot comes across in the opening. A lot of Aventus clones, I've said this a lot in the past, use bergamot instead of pineapple, and they'll get a similar kind of feeling with that bergamot. Now this is not an Aventus clone, like I said, but I could see where some people would draw a parallel in the opening anyway. I actually like the way this one smells. This one is my favorite so far, like I said. There's a green mango note in the top, and I don't get mango, but I do get the little bit of like a green vibe. Fresh, green, fruity sweetness is definitely here in the opening. Little bits of wood in there as well. This one is the best of the 3 I've smelled so far. I'm gonna keep this going so that these can keep drying down, and see how they develop. Next up is Absolution. So Absolution, gonna go right on over here. This one is the one that comes in the little red bottle. Ooh, that's sweet. Yeah, that's like candied sweet, sugary sweet, right off the top. Almost like candied syrupy sweet. That smells nice. Almond, saffron, and cinnamon in the opening. Apple and toffee in the mid. Ambergris, oak moss, caramel, chocolate, driftwood, and musk in the base. Don't really get any caramel or chocolate or anything like that, but this is the opening, so that could very well change. Cinnamon, apple, sugary, sweet. That's what it smells like. Maybe a bit of almond, but not a ton. These two, Primus and Absolution, are much better than Navus and Intimus, which I think are hard passes, extremely hard passes at $200 for Navus and Intimus. Primus smells nice. I dig it. I'm gonna let it keep drying down. Again, if anybody said, hey, I get a very light Aventus vibe, I wouldn't argue with them. But Primus, it takes things a different direction. It's got some effervescence to it, kind of sparkles off your skin a little bit here initially, and I like it. I like the way it smells. Absolution, I dig too. I dig that. It's sweet, like I said. If you don't like sweet fragrances, you're not gonna like it because it's very, very far on that side. This one, I think, is the one that people said, oh, it's a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540. I'm pretty sure it's gotta be this one because it is sugary sweet. It comes in a red bottle, I get it. It's not Baccarat Rouge 540. It's different than Baccarat Rouge 540. I think George, the fragrance apprentice, actually made a video. Not everything is Baccarat Rouge 540. It seems like anything that comes out in a red bottle lately, people are like, oh my God, it smells exactly like Baccarat Rouge 540. And then you smell it and you're like, yeah, but it doesn't though. And that's this, at least here in the top. It's different. I mean, is it sweet? Is it sugary? And is Baccarat Rouge 540 sweet and sugary? Yes, on both accounts. Do both come in bottles that feature red? Yes, they do, but they don't smell the same though. Completely different fragrances, completely different ideas, but it's like Mr. Burberry and Sauvage. People will say, oh, they smell similar, and then you smell them side by side and you're like, yeah, but no, actually they don't. It's like that here. Now, just to be honest with you guys, I went into this not caring at all if they were good or bad. I'm not here to have Steven's back and, you know, shill his stuff for him. That's not what I'm doing here, and I would never, ever, ever do that. Just making that very clear that I have zero interest in shilling this stuff. At the same time, I have zero interest in BSing you and telling something sucks when it's good. Just the same, I have zero interest in telling you something is good when it sucks. So guys, this is after the fact. I actually had finished filming and came back to do this, so this is kind of like an addendum. Absolution, the longer it stays on your skin, the closer it gets to Baccarat Rouge 540. So when I first sprayed this on, my first reaction was no, nope, not Baccarat Rouge 540. The longer it stays on your skin, the closer it gets. If you've only smelled this off a tester strip or something, spray it on your skin, wait like an hour and a half, and then give it a smell, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Not the exact same as BR 540, but it's close. And then this struck me. It struck me as I was actually sitting down at the computer. Primus, the one that initially smelled a bit like Aventus, or had that similar kind of vibe. I was talking to somebody and I said, oh yeah, it's got like this little kind of soil vibe to it that is caused, I think, by the spices in the fragrance, the way that they're used. And I realized, you know, as I was talking about it, oh, a little bit of spice, comes across a little bit like soil, has that kind of green vibe to it, and this, that, and the other. It smells a little bit like cologne, like Parfums de Marly cologne. It smells similar to that. The way that cologne comes across with its little bit of that kind of earthy spice that it has, similar to that. So I just had those kind of realizations and wanted to throw that in here. I've had these on now for a couple of hours, so I'm gonna cut it there. This video is already crazy long. Okay, on to the next one, Virtus. All right, now go even further up the arm, I guess. Okay, so that smells like Mancera Red Tobacco. At least in the opening, that is very freaking similar to Mancera Red Tobacco. That's about all I have to say about that. Basically, if you took Mancera Red Tobacco and you toned it down a little bit, that's what it smells like. And actually, this is a little bit off topic, but Argos, which is a niche house, they're coming out with a fragrance called Triumph of Bacchus. I believe that's how you would pronounce it. If I pronounce it incorrectly, I apologize. This smells similar to that, which smells similar to, like I said, Mancera Red Tobacco. So this one, it's funny. Some people online have said, this definitely smells like that. This definitely smells like that. Like Absolution. People saying it smells like Baccarat Rouge 540, but then this definitely does smell similar to Mancera Red Tobacco. I would say that absolutely. Now, if you like Mancera Red Tobacco, I imagine you will like this fragrance a lot. Dark tobacco, sweet, spicy, a little bit in your face. That is what this smells like, and again, it is very similar to red tobacco. I'm gonna revisit these fragrances really quickly before I bust into the oud fragrances, of which there are 2. So here we go, Navus right here. Navus, about what I thought before. It's okay. Citrus, a little bit green, it's fresh, it is clean, it smells nice, but for the price, I would not buy it. Intimus, kind of the same thing, smells nice, wouldn't buy it for $200. It is very much in the leaning more toward the designer side of things. Not as sweet as Ultramall. I had compared it to Ultramall originally when I first sprayed that, and it kind of gave me a feeling of something that I had smelled before. It had a feeling of familiarity. Sorry, I'm scrolling back on my phone to get back to the fragrance so I can check the notes here. Yeah, I mean, it matches up pretty well with the notes on there. It does have this feeling of, I've smelled it before, but then I can't place it to exactly what it is, and Ultramall captures that partially, but not fully, so I don't know if it's just an amalgamation of a lot of fragrances that I've smelled, and bits and pieces of those DNA are in this fragrance, and then that's why I'm thinking, oh, this smells familiar, but then it doesn't actually smell exactly like something else out there, or I just haven't thought of what it is yet, but it does have a familiarity to me. Ooh, Primus. That has changed. That has changed. When I first sprayed that on, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see a similarity to Aventus, as some people like to say. And I got it. In the first 5-10 minutes, I was like, okay, there's this similarity, there's this common thread between the 2 fragrances. It's not the same, but you could convince me it was inspired by it. There's still effervescence here, a little bit of sparkle off your skin, and it has darkened up. When you first spray it on, it's more fresh, it's got that green feeling, and some of that green feeling is definitely still here. But some of those other notes, those darker notes, have crept out. The patchouli, the oak moss, it says it has dark amber woods, so I would take that to mean amberwood, which is extremely popular nowadays, and perhaps it's been given a bit of a twist. A little bit of maybe like soil, like a small soil note, like something that you might find in different fragrances out there where they're trying to give you that little bit of that darkness, and it comes across that way. Yeah, like a little touch of soil, but not super dirty soil, if that makes any sense. Because it does have, again, that effervescence to it. I find it way more interesting than the first 2 fragrances. It does something a little bit different, but it still does have just that feeling. Like I said, definitely not Aventus. It's not the same as Aventus, but in the opening it gives that vibe, and then it switches as it goes down, or dries down as it goes down. What am I saying? I'll just leave that, and we'll keep marching on.